Hello everybody, this is your instructor Jason Chapa. This is our weekly meeting for Speech 1311, VF5, VF6, and VF7. And what I wanted to do today was kind of supplement the video I released yesterday to all of you, which would be to explain or answer any questions that y'all may have with the upcoming assignments, as well as answer any questions in general that y'all do have for the course. Now, there is something I do want to update for in regards to due dates. Now, originally when I was designing the course, I thought that the week of Monday, May 6th would be our last week, but it turns out that that is going to be the week of Monday, May 13th, which is our final week, and that goes all the way up until Thursday the 16th. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adjusting due dates to reflect that, so you'll have more time to get done with the final things. For example, I've pushed back the due date of the group culture assignment from this Friday to next Monday, the 29th. So y'all will have the whole weekend, even the Sunday, to get it done. And if you do need, like, an extra day or two, I'll say go ahead and let me know, because I could probably give you the extra time, like the extra day, as long as you can show me that you're almost done, that you've made some completion. But yeah, I've pushed back the due date for the group culture assignment to the 29th, and I'm pushing back the speech presentation to the May 10th. And I'm also pushing back the due dates of the final exam and the course discussion assignments to May 13th. So hopefully that will help y'all complete the work. I'll go through the blackboards, maybe not tonight, but I'll go through them tomorrow during my office hour and update the relevant dates on the syllabus and the file and the folders and the blackboard information, so that y'all know how long y'all have to work on things. And in regards to the speech presentation, I'll probably have a day on campus where I reserve a room and y'all can come in and present. That will probably be after the May 10th day, so if you come in to present it, you'll get some extra time to do that. All right, Mariam, for the group project, we went over this, I want to say, our second meeting, perhaps. You're going to present 5 categories of information on a different country. Let me share my whiteboard so I can kind of explain and type them out. The first one you're going to present is over verbal communication. Verbal communication is going to be language. You don't have to cover entire history or whatever languages, but for the language of the country, the people in the country speak, you can talk about important phrases, important slang, and even if you wanted to curse words, just don't be too explicit about it, censor yourself. But the purpose is to give you a good working knowledge of important phrases. The second thing you do is nonverbal communication, which is, it can be gestures, appropriate and inappropriate gestures, which ones to use, which ones to avoid. It can also be the way they dress, what's appropriate appearance. It can be their notions and concepts of personal space, etc. So anything that they communicate non-verbally. Then you'll also want to talk about family communication, which is what describes a typical family from that country. Do they prefer large family sizes, small family sizes? Is it the immediate families? Is it extended families that live into the household? What things do they celebrate together? What's typical for a family in terms of size, how they interact with one another, etc. Then you'll also be covering interpersonal communication, which is a few different things. It can be romantic relationships and the communication related to that. It can be platonic relationships, so friendships, And it can also be business relationships for those. When I talk about interpersonal communication, that's what I mean. You'll give some information on romantic, platonic, or even professional business relationships. And then the last one would be gender differences. So what that is the notions of masculinity and femininity in a culture. So that's what you'll be presenting for the group culture assignment. Remember, you're going to want to focus on research on modern research, things that are within the last maybe 10 years, 10 to 15 years, so that it's up to date. And for each of these, you're going to want to have one good research source or two, one or two that backs up what you'll be researching. So yeah, that's what you do for the group culture assignment. I do have the sample one on Blackboard that I did. Please watch it and review it. All right, so yeah, that was the group culture assignment just for Marion there. Do y'all have any other questions so far? Because I don't have much planned for today. I just want to answer any questions that y'all might have, as well as update y'all about the new due dates for the assignments. To summarize again, the group culture assignment is going to be due on Monday, which is April 29th. So I'm giving you the weekend to do that. The speech presentation is now due on the 10th, and the May 10th, and the final presentations or final exam and the course discussion assignments are due by May 13th. So you have that extra time to do stuff. So I'll go ahead and write that on the board here. Is the assignment. There is the speech presentation. And I think May 10th. Yes. And there are the questions. 13. So those are the new due dates to summarize. And again, let me put an asterisk next to this one. And what is that? Sorry about my terrible asterisk. But since I'm kind of dumping this on you pretty quickly, you may request an initial day or two for the group culture assignment as long as you contact me and show me that you're working, that you have, that you're basically making progress on it, so that you would need an extra day. If you've not done anything and you ask me for a few extra days, that might be an issue. Suyin, go ahead and ask your question if you'd like. You can do it through audio or through just the chat. Either one. It's fine. Yeah, Suyin, while you're thinking of your question, I'm just going to answer Marion's real quick. What do the voice recordings have to be about? Basically, you have to record yourself narrating the information on that research, Marion. So for the group culture project, that's what you're going to be. You're going to be recording an audio presentation. You can do video as well, because there is a way to add either audio or video to your PowerPoints, but you're going to have to do one of those for that group culture project and put it in the PowerPoint slide that you make. If you watch and go through the sample Russian presentation, Marianne, I think it'll show you what I'm wanting you to do. So, yeah. So, I'm going to lower your hand, but I still am just, that doesn't mean that I don't want to listen to your question. I'm just going to lower it so that, whenever you're ready, you can. When I'll lower it whenever you get your question out here. So I'm just waiting for you to either speak or type out your question on the chat, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. Oh, and also, yeah, if any of y'all want, y'all can also private message me questions as well, and I will answer them privately if you'd like. So, any other questions? I know we've had a few new people join in, or a few people who might have had some issues with their connections. But yes, any other questions? Okay. So yeah, Suyin, or Anahai, what are y'all's questions? Y'all can either ask them on the chat, or y'all can ask them with your voice. I will mute myself so that y'all can, until I see either you or Suyin's questions. All right, Anahai. For the group culture assignment, what you can do is I'm going to want you to put a table of contents slide that summarizes who has done what, like who's responsible for what. And on the last slide, I'm going to want you to put a references slide which has each individual member's contributed research to the group. So hopefully that helps out your question. Juana, if you don't have a group, it is going to be a bit more work, but by now you could work on it yourself if need be. Again, I'm just going to lower your hand, but again, I guess, yes, Suyin, what question do you have? You can just type it in the chat, or you can, again, chat up. I'm going to mute myself while I wait. Jessica, each person does not have to send in a copy of the PowerPoint, just as long as everybody has their names on the PowerPoint, like with the section they're doing and the research they contributed. So yes, on interpersonal communication, Marion, you'll need to research the relationship communication, which is how basically how people interact in relationships. So you can either focus on romantic relationships such as dating in the culture and courtship. You can focus on platonic or friendships in the culture. Do they have a lot of friends? Are they really close to their friends? What do they do with their friends typically? Or you can focus on business professional relationships, which is, how people do business, how people interact. So in the time of the presentation, a few different bits of information for that. So for the presentation, it's going to be 5 to 7 minutes for the individual presentation. For this group presentation, this group culture assignment, you're probably going to want to talk for 2 minutes per each of the categories. But for your speech presentation, it's going to be about 5 to 8 minutes. Uh, for the group culture assignment, it only has to be voice. For the speech presentation, that has to be video. I have to be able to see you presenting. With the group culture assignment, it can be only voice if you'd like, or video. But the group definitely has to be, or the speech presentation definitely has to be video. Yes, Marion, you can present the speech to family members and then send me the video or upload it to YouTube. If you're going to upload it to YouTube, make sure that it is set to unlisted so that only people with the link can see it. You don't want to set it to private, because if you do, then I can't see it. And if you set it to public, well, everybody can see it, and you don't want that. All right, any other questions? Because we're about to be winding up. Lots of good questions, I have to say. All right. Hey, I'm going to read your question real quick. Yeah, Anahi, you can take extra group members. You can split up any of these categories into multiple group members. That's totally fine. I would recommend splitting up interpersonal communication for extra group members, because that you do have like multiple avenues which you can take it. But yeah, you can split up the group culture project into 6 ways instead of just 5 ways, and that's totally fine. Each each category should be okay. The way you should view it is each has to be like 2 minutes of information. So if you're looking at 1 minute per slide, 2 to 3 slides per category, though you could put all your information on one slide and talk over that for 2 minutes, it's up to you. But you don't want to make the slides too wordy, because if you're just reading off the information on the slide, that is not what I want. I want you to actually know your information and just be using the PowerPoint as kind of a summary tool of your talking points. You can have like notes that you're reading from that I won't be able to see, because again, audio is fine, but you should not be just reading off your PowerPoint for the presentation. And you should also make sure that whatever information you do give, you give the source of that information so that people know what it is, like where it comes from, and if it's legitimate or trustworthy. Yeah, just record your part and then send it to the group if you have the group, if you're in the group there. All right, any other questions? Because I think I'm going to be wrapping things up for now. Otherwise, hopefully this was informative. I do try to make it helpful to all of you. And if you haven't already, watched the video for the speech presentation, the one that I released earlier this week, which I would have released last week, but kind of the Easter break kind of took its toll on me. Okay, Suyin, feel free to ask your question. All right, for the topic of psychology, I'm going to want you to maybe narrow it down or be specific about it, because psychology is a very broad category. It can be a psychology topic, but pick something in, like, more in the field. Be a bit more narrow so that you can, because again, remember, you're only presenting for 5 to 8 minutes. So you can't cover everything in that time, but you can cover a good amount of information on something about it. So yeah, that's fine. That's a fine start topic, but you're going to want to narrow it down from psychology to something more specific. But generally, I think that's a good start for it. Marion, yes, you can turn in assignments early, and if you do, I will, if you turn in before the due date and I see there's any issues before I grade it, I'll tell you, hey, um, here's what I think you should do. I'll tell you, I'll give you some critique before I grade it, so if you have extra time, you can work on it, and yeah, so hopefully that works out. So get it in early, and maybe I'll review it for you before I grade it and help you out. So yeah. All right, awesome. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and stop broadcasting now. I'll still answer questions for a bit for y'all while you're already here. So whatever questions y'all have, just put them in the chat, and I'll go ahead and answer them. But thanks for coming. Hope this was informative for all of you who did show up, as well as anyone who watches tomorrow when I'll be uploading it. So yeah, have a nice evening and good night.